It is likely that you are all familiar with the Sabaton song Soldier of Three Armies. While the story of Lauri Törni will be covered at some point in the future, he wasn't the only Finnish soldier to serve in three armies. Kaarlo Edvard Kivekäs, often nicknamed the General of Three Armies, served in the Imperial Russian Army, Ukrainian People's Army, and the Finnish Defence Forces. Tervetuloa takaisin, welcome back to Finland at War. Today we'll hear about the life of General Kaarlo Kivekäs, otherwise known as the General of Three Armies. Born into a humble farming family in southeast of Finland, Kaarlo attended the Hämeenlinna Lyceum before enrolling in the Hämeenlinna Cadet School in 1886. Upon his graduation in 1890, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Turkestan Mountain Horse Artillery Battery. It soon became clear that he was a talented officer, and it wasn't long before he was given the task of forming an independent Cossack mountain artillery battery. It was while commanding this unit that he saw his first action, taking part in General Ivanov's 1893 operation to expel Afghan tribesmen from the Pamir Mountains. Kivekäs's battery was seconded to the expedition's artillery division and supported operations throughout the campaign. For his service, Kaarlo was promoted to lieutenant, and upon his return to his original unit, was made head of the training school. He would continue serving in the Turkestan military district until 1909, seeing several skirmishes with the fierce Afghan tribesmen. In this time, he saw several promotions and appointments, including the commander of the Pamir detachment, which was the front line against the tribesmen and warlords in the region. In January 1909, now Lieutenant Colonel Kivekäs was sent to the Artillery Officers' Staff School, where he completed the 9-month-long course with honours. He was promoted to full colonel and made commanding officer of the 2nd Horse Artillery Battalion based in the Vilna Military District, Lithuania. Shortly before the outbreak of the First World War, he became commander of the 1st Mountain Horse Artillery Battalion. When the Russian Empire mobilized its military in August 1914, Colonel Kivekäs and his battalion was sent to be part of the offensive into East Prussia. In November 1914, they were deployed to the Carpathian Mountains, where the plan was to strike into Austrian-Hungarian territory. For his bravery during the fighting during that year, he was awarded the coveted St. George Sword. As 1915 came to a close, he was sent to the Odessa military district. Here, he was to form the 113th Field Artillery Brigade, using the 6 militia batteries in the area. Sent to the southwestern front, he led his brigade during the intense fighting against Austrian troops in Galicia, especially on the Zolotoya Lipa and the Trensvodka rivers, and participated in the retreating battles of Brzezinski. Promoted to Major General, he was appointed commander of the 41st Army Corps artillery component. As the Russian military started to collapse in the fall of 1917, Kaarlo was made commander of the 113th Infantry Division, which after the October Revolution was transferred to the Ukrainian government. He led the division during clashes with both Bolsheviks and Germans in western Ukraine. The division was demobilized in April 1918, and Kivekäs resigned his commission in both the Russian and Ukrainian armies and attempted to return to Finland. At first, the Germans put a stop to Kivekäs's return to Finland, but the Finnish ambassador to Germany, Edvard Hjelt, helped to arrange passage for Kivekäs and 16 other Finns to get back. They arrived in Helsinki on the 26th of July, too late to participate in any action for the freedom of Finland. Kivekäs, though, wanted to help his newly independent country and enlisted as a major general in the Finnish army on the 5th of August 1918, and was initially appointed commander of the POW Camps Guard battalions. He then transferred to commander of the coastal artillery in October of the same year, and then in February 1919 was made inspector of artillery. He didn't remain inspector for long, as by the summer he was appointed as commander of the Finnish army. Kivekäs played a crucial role in the presidential election of 1919. He ensured that the army was neutral in the political game that was unfolding, despite protests from many of his officers and men. Major General Johannes Ignatius a loyal supporter of Mannerheim, demanded that Kivekäs persuade Kaarlo Ståhlberg to withdraw his candidacy for the presidency. When Kivekäs refused, Ignatius threatened with a coup, but the stalwart Finn was undeterred and took steps to halt any moves taken by any rogue factions within the military. During the fall, he was replaced as Chief of Staff by Major General Karl Vilkama, a move seen by many as punishment, and given a new assignment as Commander of Coastal Defense. He took to his duties with earnest, and pushed through several modernization programs that strengthened the old Tsarist fortresses as well as fortifying the Ladoga coast, which was vitally important during the Winter War. During the mid-1920s, many of the old former Tsarist officers were being replaced or discharged by German-trained Jager officers in a period sometimes called the Jager coup. Kivekäs wasn't above reproach, and was made commandant of the Suomenlinna garrison in 1925, a pretty big step down. But this was soon followed by appointment as commandant of the Helsinki garrison the next year. No longer wanting to be embroiled with the confusing politics that were gripping the defense forces, he resigned from the army in 1928 with the rank of lieutenant general, but remained in the employ of the Ministry of Defense. Made munitions inspector in the Department of Defense's Military Equipment Department, here he worked alongside Artillery General Vilho Nennonen to improve the country's artillery and usage of it. Nennonen was a brilliant theorist, but Kivekäs was trained and an experienced artilleryman. Together they were a formidable duo, and created several new tactics and procedures which were proven effective during the wars of 1939 to 1945, as well as pushed through a comprehensive artillery training program. He retired in the mid-1930s and moved to the border village of Terijoki. As tensions between Finland and the Soviet Union increased in late 1939, Kivekäs was evacuated, along with the rest of the village. When war broke out on the morning of the 30th of November 1939, General Kivekäs sent a message to Mannerheim's headquarters offering his services. The reply came back that he would be notified if his services were needed. He died on the 19th of February 1940 without ever being called up. It has been speculated that this was due to Mannerheim himself, who had taken a dislike to Kivekäs during the election crisis of 1919. Kaarlo was laid to rest in Hämeenlinna. While his name may not be remembered as other Finnish generals, in Tajikistan there is a Kivekäs Foundation which has the goal of remembering this man. The city of Kurug named a street after him, and there are plans to create a museum dedicated to the General of Three Armies. I hope you enjoyed this look into another Finn who served in 3 armies. Would you like to hear more of Finns who served in numerous other armies? Once again, I appreciate all the support I receive, especially from my Patreons. Don't forget to visit finlandatwar.com for regular articles. Kiitos paljon and hauska päivä.